Hello, you beautiful legends, and welcome to Bloom Force Healing Podcast. This is episode number 797, which is basically a day 797 of daily journaling, day by day, without any day off. And day 797 is or was an day 11 of our trip to Tenerife. So I'll be talking about the day 11, which was Friday, and it was supposedly our last day in the villa that we rented out. So we rented out that initially for 4 days, I believe, or 4 nights, and then we extended that for another 4 because we felt really comfortable there. It was quite a, maybe not luxury, but very high-end in comparison to many hotels stay, and we had a lot of flexibility, private pool, private snooker, jacuzzi, and all that stuff. So it was a secure place. I could use garage for our rental car, so very safe area and nice. And it was Friday was the last day, and we already were on the verge of either leaving villa and kind of seeking another place just to experience some other location. But we decided to actually that we might extend it for another 2 nights of the weekend, and then for the last 3 nights to seek something else. And we were planning for a while to go to a more luxurious place for the last 3 nights, but we wanted to still do something interim, so either extend the villa for 2 days or 2 nights, or find some other place. And unfortunately, when I wanted to extend it, we dragged for too long, and it seemed like it's unavailable for the weekend on booking.com. So we were surprised, and on one side we were a little bit disappointed, but on the other hand we kind of wanted to move on a little bit. So we started searching, and we found some hotel that looked okay, or looked pretty nice on the pictures. It had about 8.3 or 8.4 average review and plenty of reviews. So we were like, we should probably take 2 nights for trial, and if we like it we can stay. If not, then we can still move on. 1 night was not enough, too much unpacking and packing, so 2 nights are still short but reasonable. So we booked this place. I was a bit worried by some of the comments or reviews, but we booked it regardless. And we packed stuff, made sure that we didn't forget anything. And when it was checkout time in the villa, we met the owner and we had a chat. And he checked his own kind of schedule or whatever he can see for the villa, and he saw nothing. He said, like, this should be bookable, because I don't see any booking. So we don't know what happened, why it wasn't available on booking.com, but it was already past the time. We kind of rushed it and booked the other hotel. So we thanked him for hospitality and a nice villa, and we drove off to Belluyo, I know that in a previous post when I was talking about the beach, I was calling it Belula, which is very, very wrong because double L in Spanish in most cases is read as Y. So it's not Bellula, but Bollulo is what you spell it, but it's pronounced Boyuyo. So that was La Playa de Boyuyo, or Playa de Boyuyo. And we went there because it was a nice sunny day. So with all the luggage, we drove to the fair point where we could leave the car in the shadow with all the luggage in it. And then we went on about 1 kilometer to almost a mile walk to the beach. We spent a nice time there. I took a couple of shots from a drone, which will be at the end of this video, together with the drone shot of the bar from the day before. And also, we actually went to the ocean. We spent a lot of time with Julian playing with waves. And then later on, Elizabeth and Julian were playing in the water while I was kind of filming them from a drone. We went to the bar as well. Again, I got nice barraquito and that local beer from a draft. It's a very nice place. It was quite crowdy, but not too crowdy. And then when we were already tired of the sun and it was starting to be a bit more shadowy or overcast, we went back to the car, and before driving to the new hotel, we stopped at the place that we discovered on our almost last evening in the villa, even though it was just literally, I don't know, 200, 300, maybe 400 meters from us. And it was like nice homemade stuff, great food. It's owned by two people, well, a couple, a very nice woman and man from Tenerife there. And even though their English was as bad as my Spanish, or probably equal, or maybe even worse, there's something in between the people that even if we don't use the same language, we can still work out what we need. And in this case, it was obviously much easier because they understood a bit of English, and I used that opportunity to train a bit of, speaking in Spanish, which was also obviously very cringe because I didn't have opportunity to use that language ever before, but it started getting smoother and smoother. So because we were in the last hour of their operation before their closing time, there was no customers, and we were fortunate to have that opportunity to talk to them and eat their nice food. So it was a lovely place. And then afterwards we drove to the hotel for the evening. And that's probably where everything went belly up, or as they say, shit hit the fan. The hotel looked nice on the pictures. We parked the car just beside it. It was a private, well, not private, free kind of parking beside the baseball pitch. The hotel was supposed to have a garden and sea view or ocean view. It started very well. Reception and the ground floor was marble stuff, very nice, looked kind of modern. Service was also great until we actually went to our room. Not only we were at floor 17, which was the last available occupied floor, which is kind of okay because, you have great view at the ocean and surrounding rocks and cliffs and everything. But the rooms were probably from 70s or 80s. And most of the stuff there, like furniture, carpets, everything, was probably still from that time, and barely anything was changed. It was just washed to the extent possible and maintained as is. It's like, there is old stuff that is vintage, and then there's old crap, and this was the old crap. So they connected two rooms, with one door kind of shut. So we had two bathrooms, two rooms basically mirror of one room of another, and that was called a suite with sea view. There was still some works on the outside being done, so there were some weird rags wrapped around the balcony kind of handles. The room stank of some old fart. And I literally, I'm not joking. It's not to make this hotel look worse than it was. I'm just trying to say in a fairly nice words how bad it was. Carpets, I don't know if they were ever changed. And you know how carpets and old sofas and things like that, no matter how you maintain them or how you care about them, they collect a lot of stench and dirt. So it's even unhygienic to use them for such a long time. You could see the stain that, even though somebody probably put a lot of effort to get rid of them, they weren't going away because they were old and already kind of embedded into the furniture and the carpets. The wood furnitures were like from old communist states. And the worst part was that we paid for it over €250 per night, where the villa, with all the modern stuff and private amenities, was less than 200 per night. So you can imagine our shock, disbelief. The thing that I was expecting in such room to be bad, which was the bathrooms, they were the only place where it didn't stink and they were clean. The rest of this room, unless you put the air conditioning on and started kind of exchanging the air, it stank like a real old fart. And you don't want to smell fart all the way when you stay in the room. So, terrible, terrible experience. But we decided to waive it and make sure that we plan on next day and just go for breakfast and just go out for the whole day and come back only for sleep. So we explored also the gardens and whatever. There should be mini golf, the fitness center, tennis courts, etc. So a vast area. But I will kind of go a little bit ahead to tell you that the next day, Julian and myself, we explored the area, and everything was as aged as the hotel, if not the same, or sorry, if not worse. The gardens felt like a very old park that stank to piss, like people pissing under the trees or whatever. It was secure, it was kind of separate, so public had no access to it, but it still felt like that old park. The mini golf area was very old. I don't think it was refurbished ever. Even those kind of artificial grass like carpets were very old. Some things were kind of broken. There's not much to break there, but whatever was possible was broken. We still enjoyed it playing with Julian, but it was a very old mini golf course. The tennis courts were extra paid because it was managed by a separate kind of third party. So that was ridiculous with that pricing of a hotel and for the standard. Fitness center was so and so. And the pools, the main pool beside the hotel was okay. The other pools were kind of in the areas of the garden, and I wouldn't dare to go to them. They were not dirty, so you couldn't see it, but I wasn't expecting a lot of hygiene kept in those pools, and they felt like they were abandoned to some extent, even though they were cleaned kind of briefly. So terrible experience. And in the morning when we explored with Julian, we also ate breakfast that was terrible. The food was, you probably go blind to the cheapest market and you might go better than what we received there. So it was a very, very bad experience. Moved to that hotel first night. Night was okay because we kind of used air conditioning to make sure that we have a decent night, and the noise from the ocean was very, very cool and very calming. So that was a positive. But then the breakfast was terrible. A couple of unidentified foods that felt like, shop bought, kind of the lowest shelf possible. There was no juice. Whatever they called the juice was like a colored water with some flavor, whatever. And that was on Tenerife. Can imagine they have so much fresh fruit, so it's easy to get juice, but for some reason they decided to go for some artificial BS. So really bad experience. But about the next day, I will be talking tomorrow. So for now, that's it. Enjoy the footage from Boyuyo, and have a great rest of the day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Stay tuned and see you again in the next episode.